So we've got a couple gold bars for you.
This is a tradition of the District Attorney's Office, a plaque, and it reads, "Presented with great appreciation from those who had the privilege to work with you, the futures of countless children have been enhanced with the imprint left by your dedication and service."
Thank you.
But she doesn't get away entirely with just a plaque. Thank you, John, and good afternoon to Michelle's family and other distinguished guests. It is a privilege to speak to you today, and I'm honored to be here. Michelle brings to the court a remarkable diversity of experience. I have known Michelle for over 25 years. She was hired, as John mentioned, as a secretary in the late 1980s, not far removed from high school. Due to her very good disposition and her excellent communication skills, she was given a position in our office that had frequent contact with the public. She was stationed in the front office area, in the reception area of our office. She quickly earned a reputation as someone who could treat people with respect and dignity under very stressful circumstances. As you can imagine, people who come to the district attorney's office are often facing some of life's greatest challenges. Most people are not aware of the fact that Michelle was partly responsible for some substantial improvements to our office early on in her career. In the days when Michelle was responsible for the reception area of our office, also working as a legal secretary, there was nothing but a half of a swinging door that separated the public waiting area from Mike McCann's office. And one day when Michelle was working at the desk, a rather disgruntled young man launched a metal garbage can over the barrier, and it landed on Michelle's desk. So right away from the very beginning, Michelle made a contribution by getting the Milwaukee County Public Works Department to improve the security of our office. Some would say that it was early training for her work in the misdemeanor division. Now, in many ways, as has been mentioned by several people, Michelle really does represent a classic American success story. After high school, she went to MATC and earned a paralegal certificate. While doing an excellent job in our office as a legal secretary, she went to college. She earned a degree in criminal justice, graduating magna cum laude. She was hired by the probation department, where she worked as an agent supervising people who are on probation and on parole for drug trafficking. I was working at in the drug unit at the time, and she was a highly respected, energetic, and thoughtful probation agent. She cared deeply for her clients. And she sought connections to the larger community to enhance their opportunities to improve themselves and to promote rehabilitation. She became the Department of Corrections liaison to Harbor House, a drug rehabilitation program, and also to the Avenue West Neighborhood Association. This was at the peak of the crack epidemic from 1992 until 1996. It was incredibly difficult and intense work. Fortunately for us, She went then, in 1996, to the University of Wisconsin Law School, where again, she graduated with honors. Although initially working in the public sector, or in the private sector, she returned to the public sector. And in the district attorney's office in 2002, where I was very, very fortunate enough to be her supervisor, until she left just a few short weeks ago. Now, over the past 12 years, as it has been mentioned, she distinguished herself as one of the very, very best litigators in our office. In fact, really throughout her career, she has gone the extra mile, and that was certainly true over the last 12 years. She put on several continuing legal education seminars for the lawyers in our office and for many lawyers throughout the state in the statewide education and training program. She authored and took part in the publication of legal materials. She distinguished herself with her litigation not only in the trial courts, but also in the Court of Appeals and even in front of the Supreme Court. Every step of the way, she approached her work with compassion and intellectual integrity. Compassion and intellectual integrity. Now, there have been a few remarks made by other speakers about her radiating happiness and appearing lighthearted at times, and that's true. But some of us know a different Michelle. Michelle was always aware of the awesome responsibilities and grave consequences of our litigation at Children's Court, when children could not be safely returned to their homes. If you know Michelle, first and foremost, she is a mother. And she found the work at Children's Court challenging and rewarding, but also appropriately difficult. Appropriately difficult. Because children and family are so important to her. Michelle was keenly aware of the sufferings and misfortunes of people whose lives had taken some terrible and sad detour. Because Michelle practiced throughout her career with thoughtful scholarship, empathy, and kindness, she will be a wise and sensitive judge for all the citizens of Milwaukee County. Justice Bradley, I believe you're up next.
Our final speaker started out as a colleague of Judge Havas when they were both attorneys at White Hirschbeck, where they worked together, where they became close friends, and they remain close friends. So really it's an honor for me to introduce Wisconsin Supreme Court's newest justice, Justice Rebecca Bradley, for her remarks.